Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday.
Oh, just, more skating. We have testing today, so this is always, a little bit of a nervous time.
Yeah.
When there's test. It's kind of like it's like a belt test or something in karate.
Yeah. Well, how did it go for her at the last time we talked? You were in a hotel while she was at a rink.
Well, the way this particular competition worked was everyone skates their event, and then a certain number of finishers from that event get to go and skate again. Mm-hmm. Get to qualify for what they call a championship round and skate again. And she did qualify, which is, yay, good for you. She qualified, but that meant that we needed to stay in this hotel for another 2 days. Mm-hmm. And also it meant that I missed my son's concert, his choir concert. So that was a bummer. And luckily he was very good about it. He didn't get too fussed about it. But the other thing is that he has a second concert in about 6 weeks, and I already know that I'm going to be missing that one because I have to be traveling with my daughter again. So, it's just so hard when you really feel like you're forced to choose between them because, if I had really insisted on going to my son's concert, I could have made my daughter skip her event. Mm-hmm. We tried to work it out so that she could actually have her coach drive her home. And I would leave early, but then that didn't work with the coach's parenting responsibilities. Yeah. So it just didn't work out. And I just wondered, how you guys handle these kind of things. At least for all of us, we have 2 kids and 2 parents. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the time we can kind of tag team. Yeah. But if we had more kids or fewer parents, then we'd really be, I know some people use grandparents for this purpose, but we don't have any locals for that. So, so it's really hard. What do you do about it?
Yeah, I'm lucky that my kids don't have a lot of events like that. And, we definitely, my husband and I definitely do tag team. He generally along gender lines, he will take my son to do something and I'll take my daughter. But, if it comes to that, but I remember way back when they were little and due to special education placements, they were in different elementary schools. And what a thing that was, because I could only go to one of their back to school nights. And,
right.
You know how I am with back to school nights. I work that room. You know what? I network and I want to be there. And I would have to send my husband to the other school, which God bless him. He is good at very many things, but he is does not have the advocacy tool set that I did at the time. So
plus, what do you then do with your 2 kids?
Yeah. We've always had to have have people come over to watch the kids.
Right.
I don't remember what we did way back then. I know once my kids were in high school, we would have people who came over every year and everybody dropped their kids here. We had like a little party. So, cause we're right next to the high school. But yeah, it was really hard. And it was, choosing which teacher do I want to see and schmooze and which teacher am I just going to have to not
schmooze another time.
Exactly. Which one do I pick? Cause both kids want you to go. And, so that stunk. And I can't think of any situations we've had, but I sure remember when I was a kid being jealous of my sister when my parents did anything with her and missed something with me. Which didn't happen very often, but when it did, it was a big deal. So I don't know. I feel your pain. That is a really difficult thing. And it's so important to have your parents come to these things when you're a kid, your choir concerts and whatever.
Right.
Nobody ever comes to my community band concerts, and I feel sad.
Oh, I would go if I were there. Come join my community band because the concerts are across the street from my house. I don't even have to leave. I just opened the window.
Yeah, that's true. I get a lot of concerts that way too. But they're always scheduled like with at the same time as baseball games or, Special Olympics events or practices. And it's like, that's more important. Go to that, go to the Special Olympics party, whatever. It'll be fine. But
poor mom. How about you, Nicole? Have you been, since your husband travels a lot, that kind of probably things.
There is a brief time period. First of all, I have to say overall, I'm pretty fortunate because my kids are 5 years apart. So they were in very different stages and we didn't really have to do a lot of maneuvering of schedules to get to different places.
Right.
Because my daughter was younger at certain times that my son was doing things. And then when it was her turn, he was older. So it just kind of worked out that way. But I have to say there was, and there still is a big issue around when my husband travels for work and it's just me trying to get between places. So, and once again, that doesn't happen too often anymore because my son is in university and it's not like he's having school plays or that I need to be at. But that's challenging. I really feel for parents who are doing it on their own or have limited network that to support that because it's tough to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't been something that's really impacted our life, but when it does, I notice it, and it makes me really appreciate what people, the decisions that parents have to make and what people go through.
Yeah. Does either of you have kind of like a policy on this? Like, you're going to generally favor the older one because there will be another chance for the little one, or favor the younger one because the older one can kind of understand more? Or is it just kind of I think for us, it's more of a case by case, we do. I think you're like you, Terry, it sometimes ends up on gender lines, like maybe because when my daughter was starting out in skating, there was hair and makeup and it just kind of stuck. I mean, there's really now not a good reason for her not, for me to avoid doing hockey and him to avoid doing skating. I mean, that both kids are pretty self-sufficient at it now. Right. So
we just we would, if push came to shove, we would sort of look at the one that was the most where we needed to be at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about, the oldest or what was
the boy or the girl.
Our big criteria was more or less what is going to be the most impacted if we don't go.
Yeah.
Right. That's important. It's hard to tell sometimes, but I know we've had an issue lately where there are things that my daughter would like me to go with her for, just to provide moral support, and sometimes just go with her for the ride and then sit in the car while she does the thing and just be there so she knows she has something familiar. And it's important to her. And I would do that for her because I'm a, have laptop, will travel kind of person. I can work anywhere. So I'm happy to do that. But if it's a situation where during that time my son's going to have to be picked up and I'm the one who's going to have to pick him up, I have to say, hey, older sister, think you can do this yourself. Come on, it's okay. And I feel bad because, I want to be there to provide that support. But sometimes, you can't really cut yourself in half.
Right.
This is what cloning would be useful. Just like, on a situational basis.
Exactly. I believe it was Charlie Zeggers who coined the term "the two places at one time" problem.
Yes,
and that is what we're talking about.
There should be some technology to help us out with that. But I guess phones and FaceTime are what we've got right now. But
I mean, it's hard because they both usually have a valid claim, Yeah. And my son with his choir, he was he was really fine, that I wasn't there, and it's a choir. It's not like he had a solo.
But if he did, what would you have done? It's not like you could have changed
exactly. It. But I wanted to be there. I was sad that I had to.
Could your husband have videotaped it or something so you could see it later and watch it with him?
He maybe could have. I think it's kind of frowned upon.
It is really obnoxious when parents do that, but I think you could say, his mom can't be here.
His mom isn't here.
And then everybody will judge you.
The Christmas one, the one that I always miss every year because of this skating thing being on the same weekend, they actually televise that.
That's nice.
On our local TV. They save it. They record it when they do it, which is early December, and then they play it right around Christmas time.
Oh, that's
on
nice.
TV.
That's nice.
Cool.
You can actually watch it. So
that's a nice thing to do for those who have to miss it live.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do your kids tend to handle this? Like, Terry, you said when you have to ask your daughter, is she understanding? I mean, I try to say, I'm really sorry, but this is something that happens a lot in life. We have to make choices, and, you had to choose skating over, this party, or to my son, I know you really want to be in, there's this thing here called Brigade, which is kind of like Scouts, and he would love to do it, but with hockey and choir, he just can't. So I sort of say I'm in the same boat as you are when we have these kind of conflicts, which sometimes they get it. And
I mean, I think that they get it in their head, but not in their heart. You still want it, even though you understand all the reasons why you can't have it. You still want it, and it still makes you sad and stressed. Right. And there's nothing parents can do about that. It's a good preparation for life, kid.
Yeah.
Build resilience.
Let me kick you in the gut now, so that you'll get strong.
Yeah. My daughter is probably the least understanding, but maybe that has to do with the fact that she's the baby, almost 16-year-old teenage girl. I don't know. She's the one that
the younger kids. Sometimes it's harder for them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we often get, well, Josh gets that and Josh gets this. In the meantime, we're totally catering to her needs.
Yeah.
The irony of it.
Well, when one kid does that, I try to point out all the things that the other kid does or gets that kid would not want to do. So, do you really want to trade?
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily work, but I feel proud of my rhetorical skills when I do it. Even if they are not appreciated.
I do. I mean, I just think the only way to do it is just to keep explaining that, this is a sad situation for all of us, but this is the way it's got to be until somebody gets on that cloning thing.
I think so.
Or the time turner from Harry Potter. We need one.
And what is that? Because I've heard this is the second time I've heard that mentioned this week. There was a joke with Lin-Manuel Miranda on his Twitter feed about that. What is a time turner for those of us who have not read Harry Potter?
So I think it's in book 4. Hermione, who is, the super smart girl who's friends with Harry Potter.
That much I know.
Okay. She starts taking many classes at school at Hogwarts, and her friends are like, "How are you? What? Weren't you just in the? She'll show up instantly in her seat, and they're like, Where were you?" And it turns out, you find out later, that she has this magical device called a time turner that allows her to go back just a couple hours or an hour, and that way she can take 2 classes that meet simultaneously.
Wow.
And that's what she uses it for.
Right.
But it's not everybody can get one. It's like a special device, and it does figure into the dramatic conclusion.
Well, I would think yes.
That
sounds like the sort of thing that could be used for more complicated things than going
Yes.
to 2 classes at a time.
Right.
As we
And
discussed on a recent speed round.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
But, yes, we need some sort of technology that allows us in some way, shape, or form to be 2 places at once. Get it done. Science. We're tired of being the bad guy.
Mhm.